Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Let's Talk Headlines series. I'm your host Jay, and this is the Objective Podcast. I want to thank you so much for tuning in to the 32nd episode of Let's Talk Headlines. Follow me on Instagram at the Objective Podcast. I post pictures in relation to current news events, and not only do I post pictures, I actually post a caption as well that has some thought into it. I want to facilitate discussion, debates, healthy argument. I really appreciate people who do comment, and I appreciate the love that has been sent to me via direct message, the affirmation. Thank you guys so much. Okay, let's get right into the show because my goal is 10 minutes, and I have recently and previously failed in reaching that goal. So let's see if we can do it today. We have 3 things that I want to talk about today. Before we get into that, and I'll keep this quick here, a quote. Quote of the day. It's a Chinese proverb, one that actually changed my perspective of life after I read it and really considered it. The words are this: the journey is the reward. The journey is the reward. And when you put it into practice, or when you actually take those words seriously and really consider what they mean, take a career or a relationship or education. A lot of the times we're always so eager to get to the goal that we actually miss what the most important part of the journey is, and that is the journey. Marriage, we're like, oh, I can't wait. I wish I had a marriage like that. Or education, oh, I can't wait till I get my PhD in this or my master's in that. And a lot of the times we miss the most important part of that whole experience, which, like I said, is the journey. It's the small victories. It's the small learning experiences. It's the trials that you overcome. That is the most important part of any goal that we have. A goal and a victory tastes the sweetest when we've had to actually work for it. That's when we can not only just benefit from whatever that goal is, but it's when we can truly appreciate the goal, when we know how hard and how tenacious we had to be to actually get there. So with that, guys, just as we're coming towards the new year, and whatever our New Year's resolutions are, let's try to, take one day at a time, one step at a time, and really appreciate and acknowledge the victories and the trials that we go through. Okay, so getting into the program, well, we're going to start off with Roy Moore. I've been following that story not only on my Instagram but even on my podcast here, and the newest developments were pretty much a bombshell. And I always say a lot of the times in my podcast, not my podcast, but a lot of the times on my Instagram captions, I always say what is done in darkness will eventually come to light. Take a sip of my green tea here, guys. Got some honey in here. What is done in darkness will always come to light. Really interesting, because in this story, if you haven't been paying attention, one of the main accusers, Beverly Nelson, she came out and she admitted that she had forged the writing that she attributed to Roy Moore. Now, whether all of the writing was forged or it was some of the writing, whatever the case may be, this is not good for her. It truly destroys her credibility, because just say this thing went to a court of law, because right now it's in the court of public opinion. If it went to the court of law, the defense would pretty much say, you lied about this. What else are you lying about? What other part of your testimony is false? Right? So this is pretty vindicating. I wouldn't say it's completely vindicating, because there are other accusers, but this is not a bad thing for Roy Moore. It definitely strengthens his position. And if you want to hear more or see more about, what I write on this topic, I have an article on politicalstorm.com under the Objective Podcast. It's called A Tale of a Judge and a Yearbook, I believe is what I called it. So definitely check that out. The next thing, this is number 2 now. This was interesting. And it was very telling, actually. Chelsea Handler, a TV personality, she actually said that she wants to go full time into political activism. I don't know if this was a result of the campaign or a failed TV career. I don't know. But ever since I think it was pretty much President Trump's victory that was pretty much a launch pad of her political career or political activist career. Now, I'll preface with this. The left champions or states that they're champions of minorities, the disenfranchised, women, the homosexual community. They state that they are champions of these groups, okay? But then you look at some of the proponents of the left and you really start to get confused. A lot of these people who say, oh, the president, he's not politically correct. He's so rude. He hates women. He hates blacks. He hates Muslims. But then when you look at, like I said, the proponents or the advocates of the left, like Chelsea Handler, for instance, and you saw what she did. She put a skit out. She has another actress on her show who pretty much dresses up as Sarah Huckabee Sanders, the press secretary. And they're pretty much saying that she looks like a whore. They're fat shaming her. And this is not the first time that Sarah has been subject to this kind of stuff. The left and the media, they've taken jabs at her in terms of her appearance. And it just makes you wonder because, like I said, these are people who say, oh, we're champions of the minorities, of women. We want to empower women. We're feminists. But then when you have a woman who thinks differently or who is affiliated with another political ideology, it's like she's nothing. And all of a sudden, all bets are off and all the rules are off and you attack her. And you would think, like, Sarah Huckabee Sanders, she is a woman in a powerful position. She speaks for the most powerful man in the world, the president of the United States. You would think that these people who say that we want to empower women, we want women to be independent, you would think that they would be fully behind her. But then I realized that if whoever you are, white, black, Asian, woman, male, gay, straight, whatever you are, if you do not have that same train of thought, if you are a free thinker, you are pretty much an outlier to the Democratic Party. They don't want anything to do with you. They pretty much say you're not black anymore, or they say you're not a woman anymore if you don't fall in line with the categories of thought that they put forth for you. So that was, it was, I'm not surprised, to be honest, because I know this just based on people's reactions, people that I talk to, for instance. It's like they can't comprehend a minority who is a conservative, and I think it's sad. I think it's really sad. And I do have pity, and I don't say that in a demeaning way, but it's just sad that, people are so small-minded, I guess. The next topic, guys, before we end here, I think we're doing pretty good for time. Some of you may have heard a long time ago, there was a couple, a gay couple who went to a bakery and they had asked the baker to make them a cake for their wedding. This baker was a Christian, and he said he offered them other baked goods and other cakes and stuff, but he said, I will not do a custom cake because of my beliefs. Now, this is going to the Supreme Court. I don't know how they're going to rule. I have my theories of what may happen, but this is a very important ruling. It's a very tricky subject because on one side, I mean, if they want to go at the discrimination argument, well, I don't know how strong that is, especially when he offered them other services, but just due to his beliefs, he didn't want to be an advocate for same-sex marriage because that went against his beliefs. But at the same time, whatever the ruling is, if they set a ruling that, business owners can sell only to whoever they want, To some people, that may be going backwards, because when you look in history where black folk weren't able to go into certain restaurants, and I'm just saying this because these are some arguments that you will hear. I don't take the civil rights movement and the struggle of black folk in America, I don't equivocate that to the struggle of homosexuals in America. I don't. And I think it's an insult to equivocate the both of those things. But I think that as this goes through the courts, it's very important. The ruling is very important. And I'll keep on top of that. And I will let you guys know my take on whatever happens. I will post something on Instagram, and I hope that you guys will discuss with me. We'll kind of bounce ideas off each other, okay? But that's enough for today's show. Definitely, guys, make it your objective to be objective, okay? That is the most important thing. Be objective. In a world that's so bipartisan and, so divided, it's very important to keep a level mind. To weigh information. Don't be swept with the masses. Avoid groupthink at all costs, but read, research, be objective. Thanks a lot. Until next time, take care.